YouTube, what is up? We are back with another day, and we are ready to rip and roll. We just finished up our sprints and our extensive plyo series that KDOT programmed for us. We were a little stiff on those sprints after we ripped the RDLs. So we had RDLs, and then we had to finish those squats from this past workout on Friday. So I did those after the tournament on Saturday, and it is now Monday, and my back is a little fried. So the sprints were a little locked up from those. We started to free up towards the end, and we got a couple solid sprints in, and I'm hoping it continues to free up for these squats in these snatches today. Today's pretty much a 2 exercise day. We had a couple mobility drills that we already did. Then we're just building up to a clean single on these halfway pause squats. Then we're hitting 3 sets of 1 and moving violently there. And then he has us doing as many reps as possible in 10 minutes at 175 to 185 on the snatches. So that'll be my first time trying to rip as many. This is a little CrossFit, I cannot. Are we selling out the CrossFit here? What are we doing? I don't really know. He said it's a shock week, but I can't argue his points because we snatched 245 last week. So we'll follow the program. We'll stick to the program even if he's on something this week. But we got 10 minutes on the clock at 175 to 185, depending on how we're feeling today, trying to get as many reps in as possible there. And that's pretty much today. We'll yap a little bit in between and we'll get after it. Let's go. All right. So to start, we got these bounce squats. So halfway pause on the way down, and then we're bouncing into that bottom of the squat, coming back up. Very similar to cleans that we've been doing. I must really suck at this position if KDOT has us doing it twice a week. But we're building up to a clean single. After we build up to a clean single, we're dropping to 80% of that single, hitting 3 sets of 1, making it violence, and we're gonna get after it. So let's go. We'll start turning into singles just to get ripping on these. We got league night starting tonight. I got a league on Monday. I got a league on Tuesday. I got a league on Wednesday. I got a league on Thursday. And I have a possible league on Friday. So we're about to be packed full of softball for the rest of this summer, and we're gonna have to get these lifts in a little bit earlier like we have been doing. Particularly, I like doing all my regular work in the middle of the day, then bumping lifts back at night. I feel like I'm much more creative at night, so I like recording when I'm creative and I feel like I'm firing. But we're gonna have to bump everything to the morning, not slack off in the morning. We're gonna have to do work in the morning, lifts midday, softball at night, and we're gonna become a fucking monster this season. So let's get after it, let's go. Let's go. We are dragging motivationally right now. The body's actually feeling pretty decent. A little tight, like I was saying, from the assessor we hit Saturday, but the motivation, the drive factor is a little struggling, and I know exactly why. I've been dwindling down the THC to 1 day a week, and we took an edible this past weekend. And for the 48 hours following an edible, and this was like a 10 milligram edible, it wasn't a ton. My brain and my motivation to go do things becomes zero. So I got the question asking about how do you balance burnout and how do you balance getting motivated for your lifts. The very first thing, it's via negativity, just like it is with everything else, is eliminate the shit that takes away that motivation in the first place. And for most people, that's social media, any external dopamine hit. Social media, smoking, nicotine, porn, all the things that are giving you massive dopamine hits. You're gonna have a rebound from that. Your body's gonna come back to a homeostasis level to where it's not high all the time in these settings. And again, you can get high with THC, you can get high with social media, you can get high with a bunch of different things. And the more you abuse that dopamine system of yours, the more you're gonna have a rebound, and we're having the rebound today. And as long as you're all right with that and you're okay and you kind of understand your system, that's why I limit THC to 1 day a week, because otherwise I go 4 or 5 days with no motivation, and that's just not a good look for me. You can accept the benefits of the THC high and accept the social benefits of that, and you can use the tools, and you don't have to go full none, you don't have to go full monk mode on everything. Just accept that's gonna happen, and then you bounce back and you set your environment up. Maybe you get a little bit more sleep, maybe take some creatine, maybe take a little bit more caffeine during the days where you're feeling that motivation. But I think a lot of people, when they're going through that streak, don't even realize that they are maxing out their dopamine system, and that's why they have no motivation on all the basic tasks that they have to do throughout the day. And I answered this person's question on Instagram, and he replied like, yes, dude, I just quit vaping and I've just quit THC. And I'm like, yeah, exactly, man. The via negativity there will make a massive difference. And then two, the battle motivation, man, you gotta have a purpose to train, and you have to have a reason to train. If you don't have a reason to go do these things on the days when that motivation isn't there, like today, I would just not train in the past, right? But now I have goals and things that I wanna accomplish, so I show up to the gym, and even when the motivation isn't crazy high, I don't wanna make it sound like it's brutal today. It's not, it's just I'm dragging ass just a little bit, right? There's definitely days that have been massively worse than this, right? It's not a massive struggle today, but it would definitely been a day where I push off the lift or just don't try as hard. But because I have goals of snatching and cleaning a lot of weight. I have a system, I have an environment that I put myself in this program, in the KDOT program. I'm paying for something that keeps me accountable. I show up and put in the works on the days when it's hard in quotations to put on the work, hard in quotations to get motivated to go do that. And it starts to allow you to play a little bit more of a long-term game rather than this short-term, oh, I'm not feeling it today, so I'm not gonna show up. Oh, I'm feeling it the next day, I'm gonna go really, really hard and burn out myself. And then the next day I have nothing, and it just becomes way too ebby and flowy rather than just riding that wave and just staying a little bit more steady, right? So I think when you're battling both motivation and burnout, I think you eliminate the things in the biohacking world that are fucking up your dopamine system, and then you set yourself up in an environment that allows you to stay motivated, allows you to be held accountable in some regard, and gives you a purpose to go train. This actually brings up a good point where Dr. Tommy John's top 10 essentials of healing and performance. I actually really love this chart. I'm gonna show this here because I think it's powerful. I don't know how to zoom in. How do I zoom in on this camera? I'm a boomer. There we go, right there. The 8 essentials of healing and performance. Belief in something greater than yourself, purpose, relationships, sleeps and naps, prayers, meditation, breath, natural light, sunlight, nourishment, and body movement. And I feel like if you're doing these 8 things, man, the motivation comes and you just feel much more grounded and connected to things, right? So that's how you battle motivation. Get rid of the bullshit that's taking away that motivation, and then set yourself up in an environment that allows it to grow, right? So we're gonna zoom out, we're gonna get after this fucking squat set, and we're gonna go. Ooh, let's go. On that little motivation rant, I listed those things in the order of importance, right? I do believe eliminating the things that tape away that dopamine system, that kind of fuck up your dopamine system, is the #1 thing that allows you to be motivated, present, and grounded in places that you want to be grounded in. And trying to battle that biochemistry in your brain is pretty fucking hard when those things aren't there. However, I do know that it's much harder to fix #1 than it is to fix #2. And I think if you build out the environment first and you start to download the environment into your brain of, when I'm in this spot, this is what I do. I follow the program. So even when the days that you're brain dead, you know exactly what you have to do, step by step by step by step. You eliminate the barriers, you eliminate the resistance. For the days that you're struggling, I believe that part is much easier. And honestly, I think most people are unable to start with #1, right? I think it's kind of this concurrent system of I trying to get people to cut out weed, trying to get people to cut out nicotine, trying to get people to stop social media, stop looking at porn. Like it's very, very hard to do #1, and it's a long-term thing, and it's something that we work concurrently with #2. And if you're able to cut #1 completely, if you're able to cold turkey, that is absolutely the goal, and that's the #1 thing that we want to do. But if you're not, and you're going through that cycle, I think setting up your environment, your lifting environment, your work environment, whatever it is that you're trying to get motivated for, to where on the days where you are struggling, you still can show up and do the work that you need to do, and you eliminate that resistance. You're not having to program for yourself. You're not having to question a bunch of things. It's not really hard for you to get that workout in because it's just laid out in front of you, and you know exactly what you need to do that day. And then you've proven to yourself that you do it that day, and you've downloaded that system into your brain. Even on the days when you're brain dead, you can get a bunch of work done when you're brain dead while you're concurrently fixing the issues with #1. You're fixing your social media addiction. You're fixing your vape addiction, right? So I think for most people, fixing the second part is the easiest one, and the one that you can start with that today. You can buy a program that you can follow and be brain dead with today. You can set your environment up in that setting. You can tell yourself that I'm showing up to the gym regardless of motivational factors every single day. You can eliminate that resistance every single day and still get a bunch of work done. It won't be the most productive work until #1 is fixed. It won't be the most grounded work until #1 is fixed. And it won't be the most present work until #1 is fixed. But it starts the cycle, right? And once that cycle started, you're gonna get to the weight room. You know what you have to do that day. You have a purpose for being in the weight room. You have goals you're trying to chase in the weight room. And then on days when you are struggling with motivation, you feel brain dead, your dopamine is not able to get up, you're gonna be like, fuck dude, I need to get my dopamine up. I feel like shit, I can't get motivated. I need to stop fucking smoking. I need to stop vaping. I need to stop being on social media all day, right? So then it kind of starts this cycle of breaking that addiction because you have a reason to break that addiction, right? Because you have work that you need to get done, and that work that you're getting done is shit, and you're not getting closer to your goals, and it's pissing you off. So then you start to fix this #1 part, right? So I believe it's this cycle that you need to work on together, and #1 is hard for a lot of people to break right away. But #2 is very easy, and I think if you start with #2, it'll start to fix #1 naturally because you have a purpose and a reason to fix it. And most competitive people are just fucking sick of sucking at something. At least that's me myself, right? The way that I was able to stop smoking 3 to 5 times a week was because my lifts were taking a hit and I was fucking sick of being weak, right? So I cut it to 1 because I was sick of doing that. Right? And no amount of me just saying I don't want to do it anymore was going to do that for me because I didn't really have a purpose to do it. It was like business was all right when I was high. Coaching was all right when I was high. The thing that was taking the hit was the physical performance, and I was sick of being a piece of shit in that regard. So I fixed #1, right? So set the environment up, show up, have a purpose for doing the things, have metrics for doing the things, have a KPI that you're chasing, have these side quests that you're trying to accomplish, and allow that to motivate you to stop doing these fucking things that are keeping you from doing that goal, right? And then allow that concurrent cycle to happen, right? So let's get after this and let's stop sucking. Let's go. Boom. Woo. All right, we're gonna make this our last set here because it's supposed to be a crispy single, not a grindy single. And this one's probably gonna be closer to a grindy single than K-Dot would like, but we'll drop to 80% of it. You have to hit 4 plates when you squat or you're a bot, so it's kind of mandatory. I think K-Dot will understand. Let's get after it. Oh, woo! A little too much heel elevation. I was doing heels with the slant board and that shit almost tipped me forward, but it felt pretty strong. We'll drop 80%. I'll probably take off that little slant board. Little experiment that failed there, or nearly failed, almost took me out. Let's go. All right, then we dropped 20% and we got 3 sets of 1. Goal is to disrespect the weight. Move it a little bit quicker than the last set. So let's get after it, let's go. Let's go. I think the camera shit out on me on that second rep, but just so you know, it was absolutely buttery. I'm gonna go on one more rant before we get to our snatches because our snatches are 10 minutes timed as many reps as possible, so I don't know how much yapping we're gonna get in between. I'm sure I'll start to yap in between, but I wanna be able to focus on those 10 minutes and get after it. But somebody asked a question in a Q&A asking why their content is so shit and why their stuff isn't working on their page when they're making content, right? I talk to a lot of coaches about this in our consulting, right? I think it's probably one of the #1 things that we get consultations for is social media and how to build out a social media presence. And the 3 general pieces of advice that I give, and the first one is the most important. If you are bored writing it, imagine how bored people are reading it. This Jordan Peterson quote, talking about essays and how he's teaching people how to write, right? And if you have no interest in creating the piece of content that you're creating because you're trying to copy somebody else, you're just feeling like you need to put out a creatine post or what's gonna help the crowd, right? Like if you are bored writing it, fucking imagine how bored people are that have thousands of pieces of content coming at them a day are of reading that, right? You have to be massively interested in what you're interested in what you're creating and what you're making, right? Otherwise it's not gonna be art. And if it's not art, people aren't gonna look at it. People aren't gonna follow it. People are not gonna be interested in it. And art does not mean it needs to be massively creative. It can be the most scientific, autistic type post of all time, but you enjoyed making that scientific, autistic type post, and that's why it's powerful. I don't enjoy making those posts. If I start to make those posts, they don't do shit because I wanna kill myself writing them. I can't imagine somebody trying to read me making that post, right? But then I have other people that are super great at that stuff and you can tell they're interested in making it, and when I read it, I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking awesome. This information is amazing because of the way that they're interested in making that, right? And it's the only way to long-term succeed in the content game, and I think that's something that people get lost in, right? They want that instant success, and they try to mirror people and copy people, and in some regards, that's how you have to work your way through things until you find your own voice. But if you get trapped making content you don't like and that's what you blow up on, or that's how you start your page and that's how you start your process, like that's just gonna turn into another 9-to-5 job. If you fucking hate it to start, you're gonna hate it when you make it doing it, and then you're stuck in a job you don't like, but now it's your own self-created job that you don't like, and that's just not the way to do it. You should be making content you enjoy, so when you do make it, you enjoy your job, you enjoy the life, you enjoy the freedom that you created, and I don't think you should get lost in that. And speaking of getting lost in that, that's what people get lost in, man. They get lost in chasing the likes and chasing the follows. And if you chase the likes and follows, that's all that's going to be there at the end of the day is the likes and the follows. And you're missing out on the community. You're missing out on the people and the relationships. And the relationships and people are what lead to sales, are what lead to long-term growth. If all you do is worship the algorithm, and although that is a slight part of the game, I know so many people that have blown up and then they've got like 50 to 100K followers and they can't do anything with their page other than continually chase the followers, chase the likes, because they've trapped themselves in it, and now they have this pressure because they feel like they have this big page and they can't actually post what they want to post, and it's not what their followers are there for, right? And I think you should start creating and curating the process of who your followers are and putting out what you believe in, so that you have followers that believe in what you believe in, and you create a community and you create relationships of people that want to believe in what you want to believe in and want to grow what you want to grow and want to invest in your business, invest in you. And I think the more that you trace the likes and follows, you get what you ask for and you get what you put out there. And the universe will give you the likes, they'll give you the follows, but they will take everything else away. And you have to understand that is not what you should be chasing. The likes and follows and everything else will come on the back end. They will come through the relationships, and it will be probably a little bit slower than you would like, but I promise you it's so much more worth it to build out a following like that than it is to blow up off reels that you have no interest in making and that bring low quality followers and a low quality community to your page. And again, it turns into a little bit of a trap. And the last point that I have for people when they're starting out on the content game is that just like learning how to squat, it is a rep game. If you want to get better at squatting, you're going to have your athletes squat 3 to 5 times a week, right? You're going to work on their technique, you're going to work on their form, and you're just going to have them squat. You're going to have them hit different variations of the squat, different loads of the squat, going to try different cues out with the squat. And social media is the same exact thing. If you want to get better at social media, you have to do it. You have to put the reps in. You have to create a content schedule. You have to be doing it 3 to 5 times a week. You have to be experimenting with things, different cues, different variations of the squat is the same thing with different variations of social media posts. Seeing if memes are your jam, seeing if reels are your jam, seeing if long form posts are your jam, whatever it is, find what you enjoy, find what you're good at. Find what resonates with your crowd and put the reps in so you get better at becoming a social media content creator just like you would squatting, right? Like it's the same exact principles in here. You just gotta apply them to a different part of your life and stop pretending like it's not that serious. I hear that all the time. It's just social media. Yes, it is just social media, but it's also part of your job. And if you want to be really good at your job, you have to put reps in at your job. Same way as you want to get good at coaching, you got to go coach and you got to go coach a bunch of athletes. If a part of your job is the marketing, if you own the business and you believe in what you want to believe in and you need to bring people into that business, it's a part of your job. You got to go get better at that aspect of your job. And you do that through reps and there's no shortcut to that, right? So create a content schedule, create content you're actually interested in creating and stop chasing the likes and follows. All of that stuff will come, right? It's a simple game. It's just a hard game to be consistent and persistent with. And those are the things that matter in the social media game, right? Grab that free lottery ticket, please the algo with your sacrifice that of your post daily, and go get better at it and build out a business and build out a message that actually influences people and changes the world for the better. And then that should be all of our goals, right? So let's get after this last set. Let's go. Let's go. Get to some snatching. And we got our SOTS press into the bouncing on it, SOTS press, the same thing we've been ripping. I don't know if it's the new spot that we're in right now or we're just really fucking tight today, but the shoulders, I've been really hating these today. And I really thought we were starting to love the SOTS press, thought we started to bond with it. So hopefully this last set's a little bit cleaner. Let's go, we got 10 of these, 10 hops. Last one here. Woo, cooking. Oof, and then we're hopping. Oh, those hops actually felt pretty good compared to the rest of it. Let's get to some snatches. Let's go. All right, now we got 10 minutes of these touch and go 185 snatches. Trying to hit as many reps as possible. He's had to hit doubles, triples from this touch and go position. Take a little break, try to get as many reps as possible. I think next week we're gonna try and beat that record. We'll set the tone high. We'll see how many we can get here. I did one warm-up rep at these. It felt pretty nice. I really like this touch and go. It feels really money. And hopefully we turn it into something today. So let's make them clean, let's make them buttery, let's get after it. Oh, three's gonna be the limit there. Take a little break, keep ripping. I think if we got like 15 reps, that'd be kind of sickening. Based off this fatigue level, we'll see how that goes. Keep triples until we can't do triples, then we'll do doubles until we can't do doubles, then we'll do singles until we can't do singles, or time runs up. Let's go. Oh yeah, way cleaner, let's go. Let's go. Grinding. Shock week. All right, bars moving. Let's keep it moving. Let's go. Ew. There we go. Keep it a little bit more vertical. Oh, the ATP cycle is cooked, but it's pretty sickening to see 185 move like it's moving today. Let's go. Let's go. Woo! Gassed. Got a minute and a half left. We're gonna get 20 reps. Let's go. Sloppy. Let's go. Guys, you get 2 reps in 1 minute. 30 seconds, 2 reps. Let's see if we can get 3 in there. Let's go. Last one. Come on. Fuck. Oh, 2 seconds. Let's fucking drill it. Come on. There we go. Oh my God. ATP cycle is fucking shot. Those were pretty cool. As you got tired, you really had to find your technique in there, and was finding and feeling different things with that shoulder in that catch position. So that was pretty sickening, but pretty simple day today. So you got some work in, grinded. I feel like fucking Alec Blennis after running a fucking marathon, then squatting, but instead I did 10 minutes of snatches, and I feel fat. So let's go rip some nukes at softball, and appreciate you guys watching. Keep chopping wood.